What's going on, everyone? Today we have the 2019 Lexus RC F. This is a 10th anniversary edition. That's why we got this cool paint coat, and we got a ton of extras, about $20,000 worth of sweet options. I can't wait to show it to you. This is one of the most underrated sports coupes that there is, and it deserves more respect. Big thanks to Lexus for providing it to review for you guys today. Let's get started. Welcome everyone, what is going on? Thank you so much for tuning in for this 2019 Lexus RC F. This is a 10th anniversary edition, which there's only 240 of them made in the US. So this is a very special occasion, a very rare car, definitely unique. The 10th anniversary package is actually about a $9,000 package, and this car has $20,000 worth of extras to bring the total up to $85,000. Let's go ahead and start on the exterior. So starting right up here up front, we've got these upgraded premium triple beam LED headlights. They do an awesome job. Then you've got your L-themed daytime running lights that are LED down below that. And you can see the blinkers are also in those as well. Typical big Lexus grille. We've got some actual functional air vents on the sides and right there in the middle going underneath. This is a controversial grille, but you know, it's what Lexus is going with, and I'd like to know what you guys think. Even up on the hood, we've got another vent right there, and it is actually a functional one, so that is cool. And another thing with this RC F is that it's a little bit beefier, bigger haunches on it. I really like it. I mean, it's definitely an aggressive and unique looking car. One thing unique to this 10th anniversary RC F is this matte nebula gray paint. This is the first matte paint they've used since the LFA. This is some really slick stuff. I think it looks really good. I don't think the camera can do it justice. It's just very interesting, and it really looks kind of exotic when you look at this car. Just totally different than what you see on some other vehicles nowadays. Another unique feature here are the wheels. We've got these 19-inch polished black BBS forged wheels. We've got blue Brembo brakes right there. They're 6-piston in the front and 4-piston in the back, and they look really good. These are with Michelin Pilot Super Sport tires as well. I really like the lines of this car. It's definitely controversial, like I said, but I think it looks aggressive. You've got another vent behind the front wheel right there. The line running down the side of the car definitely gives it a unique shape, and it distinguishes itself from the LC as well. So a pretty attractive coupe in my opinion. We've got turn signals on the mirrors there as well. And then coming out the back, you see this wider rear fender here. This looks really good. In addition to the 10th anniversary package, we have the performance package, which is a $5,500 upgrade that gives us this carbon fiber roof right here. And that's not the only thing it gives us. It gives us the carbon fiber wing that goes up and down with your speed. Typically it's not carbon fiber, so that is an extra right there. You can see it in your rearview mirror, which is pretty cool. Then you've got LED tail lamps back here that are also L-themed as well. And then another thing with that performance package in the back is we got a torque vectoring rear differential, so it can instantaneously change left and right torque through a multi-plate clutch. This Lexus also gives us an adaptive variable suspension and then a stacked quad exhaust, which looks pretty good. I'll give you an exhaust clip in a little bit as well. Now the trunk for the Lexus does have a little touchpad right next to the rear camera, so you can push that and it opens up. This unveils 10.1 cubic feet. I'm able to fit a golf bag in here. You could probably fit a couple, carry-on suitcase. The hinges get out of the way. You don't have a spare tire, but you've got an emergency repair kit back here. There are also a couple of hooks and a center pass-through, but the seats do not fold down. The RC F gives us the smart key system. Here's our key fob, typical of other Lexuses. You've got a little F on the bottom, metal trim on it. You can pull a real key, typical functions on here. And the way this works is you've got a sensor on the door handle. You can just touch your hand on it, it's locked, or sensor in the back, and then you're good to go. And once you open the door, you've got an F projection on the ground at night, which looks pretty sweet, illuminated door sills, and an illuminated door handle, which makes for a pretty luxurious entry to this vehicle. The seats in the RC F are just like the other F seats that we've seen. They're very bolstered. They've got nice big bolsters on the sides, good bolstering on your legs. The bolstering is not adjustable, so if you are bigger or wider, you might have trouble fitting in here. But at 5'9", I feel really comfortable and fit in here really well. The driver's seat is 10-way power, passenger is 8-way power. The driver gets the lumbar, but the passenger does not. These are heated and ventilated, and sitting up tall, I've got really good headroom. We don't have a moonroof in here, so that might make a difference. One thing to note is that standard on the F is the new Lux, which is synthetic, not true leather. You can get leather as an option, and then when you get in or out of the vehicle, you can have the easy entry and exit system go, full or partial. So I plug in my seatbelt, steering wheel comes out to me, and we're good to go. And the steering wheel is tilt and telescoping with a power option right here, and it's got a pretty good range of motion, so you shouldn't have trouble getting comfortable. Everything on the inside is really nice. We've got a bespoke Fuji blue with blue Alcantara and carbon fiber trim, an embossed headliner, 20th anniversary plaques, just a blue theme and a really neat look on the interior of this 10th anniversary vehicle. All the materials in here are really nice. As you can see, we've got this soft Alcantara with stitching, 10th anniversary badge right there. Nice looking layout in here, good metal door handle, memory seat functions, small storage down below, but you could maybe fit a few items in there, but not really a bottle or anything like that. Got our automatic high beam button. You can even control the rear wing right here, parking sonar, and our blind spot monitoring right there, your trip computer button. Let's go ahead and shut the door. And with the coupe, the window goes down a tiny bit and then goes back up. Got this interesting looking blue steering wheel. I really do like the feel of this. It's bulky. You've got these perforated grips on the side. You've got this stripe in the middle to give you reference for when you've got aggressive driving. So that's kind of neat and just another track-oriented feature. Got the F badge down below. Easy to use buttons on the steering wheel. Push button start. Typical dash here. Looks a lot like the IS, and you know, I think it's a dated look, especially with the buttons right here, but it works well. Everything feels of high quality. It still looks sleek. It just is not the most modern looking in my opinion, but got this blue up here up above as well. Soft materials on the dash. The dash is kind of two-tiered with that screen set back, just like you've seen in other Lexuses. Our gauge cluster is interesting. We've got just a tachometer in the middle, and you can change that by changing from normal to sport, sport plus, and then all of that changes with it. Even eco mode doesn't even give you a tach, it just kind of gives you a meter, which is interesting, and then a speedometer on the right. On the left is our information display. You can scroll through that on the steering wheel. Let's go to the basic trip computer settings right here. Just pretty much just your normal stuff, kind of typical with Toyota and Lexus here. And then our F area right here, you can even see the position of your rear wing, tire pressure, track times, lap times, things like that. So that's pretty cool. And I like this torque distribution with the torque vectoring differential here. You can really see where the power is going, which wheel you're going to, which is pretty neat. A G monitor going around some corners, you can watch that. Navigation, audio, and then your driver assist features, and of course messages and settings that you can change on here. The steering wheel has controls for our audio, voice, and phone. It's little cruise control stock down there still with our radar cruise, lane keep assist, and then all your distance marking button for your cruise control, controls for the information display up there. And then up here we've got the upgraded optional 10.3 inch navigation package. This system is not my favorite. You still use the same trackpad and touchpad to control things. I like how big it is and how you can have different information on here. You can have your AC, you can have a little trip computer, audio, things like that, or all of it just on one screen. There's a lot that you can do on here, and for 2019 you get Amazon, Alexa, and Apple CarPlay, but only if it was made or manufactured after let's see, I think it was October 1st, and this was manufactured in July, at least according to the VIN is what it looks like. But you've got 4G, Wi-Fi, Sirius XM, and then we have the Mark Levinson system, which is a 17 speaker, 835 watt, and it sounds really good. Very filling surround sound in this car. And then we've got touch sensitive sliders for our AC on both sides. Dual zone AC. I love how you have real buttons. You even have some buttons down here by the CD player. Volume knob, tuning knob. You can quickly access things without using the touchpad, which is nice. And then right below here, we've got heated seats, ventilated seats, even the heated steering wheel on this model. That's not standard typically on the F, but it's optional. And then same thing goes with your passenger. And we have a blue leather shifter. The shifter feels nice. It's got the perforated feel to it as well. Hit reverse, and we've got a pretty basic backup camera, but it does have dynamic lines. And then you can have a wide view or a narrow view as well, and you can change what that looks like back there. So you can kind of customize it a little bit. Then when you put it back in drive here, you got the gated shifter. You can move it to M for manual mode, to upshift and downshift. Next to that is where we'll get our drive mode button. We can, right now it's just a normal. You can hit it again for custom. You can customize that on the screen. Left for eco, sport, sport plus, back to normal. You can adjust your torque vectoring differential, traction control, and even put it in snow mode. So when we hit the TVD, torque vectoring differential button, we'll hit that. And then on the screen, it will show slalom at the bottom there. Let's move this into sport. So you've got sport, and then in slalom, and then you can put it in track and standard mode right there. So it's gonna change the way that rear differential works. Slalom is for more cornering, and then track is for basically high speed handling. It's gonna adjust that, and it's pretty awesome. It works with a multi-plate clutch, so it's a pretty advanced system. Here's our touchpad. Very typical, just like other Lexuses. At least you have a couple shortcut buttons right there. But when I move that, it will move around on the screen. Just takes some getting used to. I don't mind it that much. It could be better. And then we've got a soft Alcantara armrest. It's pretty small in here, but there's 2 USBs, enough room for a couple gadgets, my sunglasses, wallet, even a 12-volt power outlet in there as well, and an auxiliary port. And then next to us, we have these blue pads where we can rest our leg if we really want to. That's pretty nice for you and your passenger. There is a locking glove box over here. It pretty much just kind of falls right open. Not a whole lot of storage. Automatic dimming rearview mirror with garage controls. Very basic light and mirror right there. And the whole entire visor will slide, which is good to see. Touch sensitive LED lights up here, and they are pretty bright. They light this up really well. No sunglass holder in here. A moonroof is optional, but we have this embossed headliner, which is really interesting. It's kind of cool how it looks, and just kind of really gives you something to look at, something unique anyways. And then visibility, very, very coupe-like. Obviously not the strong point of this car, but who cares if you're buying a coupe. My biggest complaint with this interior is that the storage just stinks. I've been putting my keys in here. I don't like keeping them in my pocket because I've got a bunch of stuff on them. I've got work keys and all that, so that gets annoying. Your phone, there's not really a good place unless you shove it in here. I've just been setting it on the seat over there, so that's kind of a bummer. You could put it in the door handle if you want to, but storage could definitely be upgraded a little bit for a little extra something in here. Getting into the back seat is a little bit of a challenge just because it's a coupe, but you pull that lever, the seat will move out of the way. Now let me try to hop in here and then pull that seat, and let's see how far back it goes. And okay, so at 5'9", I don't really know where this seat's at. My wife has been sitting there, who's about 5'4". I can actually fit back here, which is saying something. I mean, I'm really close. My feet have like literally no room at all. There are a couple small cup holders, air vents. Doesn't look like there's any ports back here, but there's a little center armrest, which is nice. But I literally have no headroom. I'm crouching down. That is the biggest disappointment back here. But I mean, really, children could fit back here and they would be okay. The powertrain for the 2019 RC F is where there's a lot of love and a lot of hate. Personally, I love it. I love that we get a 5-liter naturally aspirated V8. This is high strength and low weight. It's got a 7,300 RPM redline, and it really screams and it sounds great. Power output for this 5-liter V8 is 467 horsepower, 389 pound-feet of torque. This is with the D4S technology, so it's direct and port injected, and it runs on the Atkinson cycle and the Otto cycle. So you've got efficiency and performance with both of those. It comes with only an 8-speed automatic transmission. There's no manual, there's no dual clutch. It's just the 8-speed automatic. And then miles per gallon, if you're interested, is 19 in the city, 25 on the highway. And most of my time in mixed driving, I've gotten 21, even with some sportier driving as well. All right, everyone, thank you so much for sticking around. If you've watched this far, why don't you just go ahead and subscribe down below? I appreciate you being here. My first impression on driving the RC F is that it definitely feels rigid. You get that performance feel because this has a stiff platform. I mean, you got a solid structure underneath it here, and you can feel every bit of that. We're just in normal mode right now, and it's pretty tame. I mean, you can definitely, when you start it up, you get the roar. You put your foot down, it'll still give you some beans. But for just regular driving, it's comfortable, it's fairly quiet. I took some decibel ratings in here as well, and it's not quiet, of course, but it's reasonable for being a sports coupe. And I love that you can still hear some sound, some exhaust, and you've got the active sound control. Let's go ahead and put it in sport mode. It'll get you up and go. You got a lot of ponies in here, 467 horsepower. You just got to rev it out. So if you're going to manually shift this thing, you keep those RPMs up, and then you get your pull. Man, this thing loves the downshift. And then once you get to, I think it's about 3,500 RPM is when that active sound control sound comes through. So just cruising right now. Right there. You can hear a huge difference. It's obviously coming in through the speakers. Whether you like it or not, I'd like to know down below. I have driven the GSF, the LC500, LS500, so if you want to see those, please be sure to check those out. Acceleration is obviously good, but it's not great. It's not the best. 4.4 0 to 60, which is a tenth of a second faster than the GSF. The overall ride and handling is still pretty good. If you want to drive this as a daily driver, you would not have a problem with this. I'm comfortable. You have an adaptive variable suspension, which I think helps smooth some things out and still gives you a good balance of performance as well. The steering response is good, but it could definitely be more precise. I mean, it's good, don't get me wrong, and the steering wheel feels fantastic, but it could definitely be a little bit sharper. And then when you put it in Sport Plus, you get a little bit more aggressiveness with the powertrain, as well as a better feel for the steering ratio. This does not, however, have the variable steering gear ratio like the LC500 does for 2019. Just driving this thing around town, it's obviously powerful enough to have fun, but it's not that ridiculous power number to where it's not even fun. You can't even have fun with the car. You can still definitely have fun with this thing in town without being too reckless or dangerous. And then when you want to use the manual mode, we've got these really nice big bulky paddle shifters. You can just shift it over to M. You can even use them without shifting it over. And the paddles work pretty well. I was very impressed in that LC500 how responsive they were. And these are still responsive, but probably not quite on that level of that LC. But I have it in Sport Plus, which isn't going to affect the powertrain really because you're in charge with the manual gear selectors, but it seems like you maybe get a little bit more sound, especially if we downshift. And they're still pretty quick and they're fun. I'm not getting the blips that I was hoping for. I got them before. regardless, it's still fun. So if I put it back in drive and you have it in the sport modes, it has an intelligence to it to where it can sense when you want to downshift and when you want that throttle blip to come in, which is pretty cool. So you get going, you get up to speed, and then you start braking, it senses as if you're gonna turn and downshifts. I don't know if you guys heard that throttle blip on the way down. If you want to see a little bit more about how a vehicle like this drives, I've got longer test drives on the GSF as well as the LC500, and even a camera on my face for the GSF. So check that out for a point of view action. Oh, the back end will definitely slip out on you a little bit. It's not real warm, so I don't have the best traction. And it's got enough power to spin it around back there. And I still have it, I have it in Sport Plus now, get a feel for the handling. And I don't even have sharp enough roads, fast enough turns to give you guys a good idea, because this thing just carves it up. It just carves it up. And Lexus says that this thing is track ready. I wish I could take it to a track. I'm sure you guys have probably seen some videos of it on a track, and this thing is still, regardless of the straight line speed of it, it still kicks butt, and it's powerful, it's fun, and it's very, very visceral with that sound and that feel, the naturally aspirated engine. And it'll throw you back in your seat when those RPMs climb. There you go. You guys heard that one. Definitely not near the sound and intensity of the LC500, which was fantastic and amazing. That exhaust was just amazing. It blew me away. But this is still good. When it comes down to it, the RC F is dated in a way. It's kind of old, but you've got the 2020 refresh coming out. You've got a track edition that's going to put this thing under 4 seconds, 0 to 60. You're going to get more power with that 2020 model, even if it's not the track edition. So that alone is really cool. It's comfortable. It's Lexus. It should be reliable. If you appreciate a V8 like I do in a naturally aspirated engine, you're going to love this thing. If you're really fixed on numbers and on performance, this is not the one for you. I mean, it's got good power, but it doesn't have the torque. It doesn't have a turbo. So you might want to consider one of the German brands. When it's all said and done, this may not be a modern day enthusiast car when a lot of people are focused on numbers, track times, things like that. But the visceral feeling that this gives you, this 5-liter V8, the sound, just the feel of it, is good enough for me. And I think it's very underappreciated and it deserves more respect. If you can appreciate a naturally aspirated V8, great, but not the best performance, then you're gonna love this thing. And the reliability to boot, something that you can't really argue with these Lexus vehicles. If you wanna see some other Lexus videos I've got the IS, the GSF, the LC500, the LS500, so please be sure to check those out. Thank y'all so much for watching. Subscribe down below for more videos like this, and we'll catch you next time.